Assalamualaikum guys, my name is Anam Fahim and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to do English lesson number 1, White Mice. So this is the story about white mice. So it is written by Ruskin Bond. Let's start. So the story is narrated by a little boy. He was returning to his parents after his summer vacation. And his uncle, whose name is Ken, who comes to the station to see him off, puts him on the wrong train. And when the boy realizes the mistake his uncle made, he gets down at Lucknow and sends a telegram to his grandfather. Telegram means a short message sent by telegraph. And the kind station master, Mr. Ghosh, keeps the boy safe until his grandfather reaches Lucknow and invites him to his house. And Mr. Ghosh's house was just behind the station. Here station and Mr. Ghosh's house was here. And he bought the little boy a cup of sweet milky tea and 2 large rasgullas. Now let me show you my family, the Mr. Ghosh said, and he took me by the hand and led me to the veranda at the back of the house. There was a miniature railway complete with a station, railway bungalows, signal boxes, and next to it a miniature fairground, complete with swings, a roundabout, and a Ferris wheel. Ferris wheel means a huge revolving wheel with passenger car usually found in fair. And 15 to 20 white mice were dancing on a roundabout and the Ferris wheel. Another dozen or so ran in and out of the tunnels and climbed up a toy train. Mr. Ghosh pressed a button and the little train crowded with white mice left the station and went rattling off to the far corners of veranda. Like suppose this is a veranda and in the corners it went, the train, far corners. And it was so all impressive. By the time grandfather arrived, I had to feed biscuits to the white mice and fall asleep on a huge armchair in Mr. Ghosh's living room. I woke up to find the station master busy showing grandfather his little railway colony of white mice. Colony means here group of mice living in the same area. Grandfather was interested in the toy train, but he said polite things about the mice, commenting their pink eyes, pretty little feet, and Mr. Ghosh beamed with pleasure and sent out for more rasgullas for the little boy. And when grandfather and I had settled into the compartment of a train, late that night, Mr. Ghosh came to the window to say goodbye. As the train began moving, he thrust a cardboard box into my hands and said, "A present for you and your grandfather." More rasgullas. The little boy thought that it was more rasgullas. I thought, he said. Later, when the train was underway and lifted the lid of the box, I found 2 white mice asleep on a bed of cotton wool. Back in Dehra, I kept the white mice in their box. I had a plan for them. After dinner, in Dehra, it was his Uncle Ken's house who puts him on the wrong train. In starting only we read that. So back in Dehra, I kept the mice in their box. I had a plan for them. After dinner, I slipped into my uncle's room and released the mice under his sheet. An hour later, we all had to leap out of our beds when Uncle Ken dashed out of the room, screaming that saw something soft and furry running inside his clothes. Like little boy slipped into his uncle's room and released the white mice under his sheet. And after the dinner, when Uncle Ken went to sleeping, white mice ran up and down inside his clothes. So he said something furry and soft is running inside his clothes. Well off with the clothes, said grandfather, giving me a wink. He had a good idea of what had happened. After Uncle Ken had done a tap dance, one white mice finally came out from the clothes, but the other had run up and down the sleeve of the pajamas. Like this is the sleeve up and down of the sleeves. Coat, and suddenly popped out beneath his chin. Like this is the pajama. It come chin pop out here. Uncle Ken started to panic, convinced that his room was full of mice. The color pink, white and brown mice. He locked himself in the storeroom and slept on an old sofa. And next day, grandfather took me to the station and put me on the train to Delhi. And it was the right train this time. I will look after the white mice, he said. Grandfather grew quite fond of the mice and even wrote to Mr. Ghosh asking if he could spare another pair. But Mr. Ghosh, he learned later, he had transferred to another part of the country and he had taken his family of white mice with him. So this was the story and this was funny. And if you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe and share. Bye.